other part of the fallout, which I guess we could just briefly touch on, Donald Trump was banned from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Oh yeah, social media. We forget about that. Yeah, it's he was banned from Pinterest too, which I don't know what he was gonna put on Pinterest to like incite violence. There's a lot of talk.
I don't think that's the big part, right? I, for some reason, always thought that Twitter would ban him after his presidency, or at least start warning him after his presidency. I kind of felt like they thought this is kind of a that he's using his Twitter as a platform to get his information out to the citizens. So they weren't going to ban him based on that. But then it's just now because he has been violating their terms and conditions for the longest time.
Yeah,
all that crap. But this is the first time where he actually incited violence. So they're that was the biggest reason for them.
There was a lot of stuff that he said and did over the years that you could say that, yeah, he's inferring stuff, but it's not an outright violation, right? Like when the looting starts, the shooting starts, and things like that. However, I think when the election, like it started that election day, when he started tweeting about Pennsylvania, like for the purposes of the electoral college, we claim Pennsylvania, we claim Michigan, this and that. That's when Twitter started putting those fact checking things on him, because they're like, okay, hey, this is a problem if you start spreading lies about the election. It's one thing if you just go and say some BS about random things. If you start spreading lies about the election, this is an actual problem. So they started putting fact check on it.
Yeah.
But still, they were like, we don't want to restrict him because he is the president. It's when it actually, there was like tangible violence that occurred because of stuff he said. There was like someone that actually died. Then they're like, okay, at this point, we got to give him one more warning. And obviously, he blew it again, and they had to ban it. I think they had to do it. They really had to do it. And I understand where they were coming from, not doing it all the time. He is the president after all, but they had to do it.
Yeah, and then I think what ended up happening is, so Twitter muted him for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then, told him, because we touched on this in the last episode, and then they said he has to, and the only way he'll come back is if he deletes the video that he had.
Yeah.
And then after that, Facebook indefinitely banned him.
Yeah.
Saying they were like, he's banned until at least Inauguration Day.
Yeah.
And then it might lead to a permanent ban, which I guess at this point is a permanent ban.
Yeah.
That's when Twitter said, okay, we're going to go ahead and ban him, because they kind of like, well, if this CEO of the social media says so, then we'll go ahead and do it.
No. There was one more tweet before they banned him. But before I get into that, I think the Facebook thing of banning him till he leaves office is more along the lines of, I think, those credible threats that something could happen between now and Inauguration Day.
No,
and we don't want him
that's
to.
That's definitely the reason why they did that.
Yeah, so we don't want him to stoke it any further than he's already doing. Now, Twitter, the reason they banned him is, I know there was one tweet that I can't quite remember, but the second tweet was the one where he said, I'm not going to the inauguration. And a lot of people started inferring that, is that kind of like code for go attack the inauguration because I'm not going to be there? Like you can attack it, I'm not going to be there. And then Twitter was like, oh, yeah, no, this guy's dangerous. and then
he tries to be smart about it, and tries to go through the official president Twitter account or the White House Twitter account, and then they ended up blocking that too. Like, you can't, no, you're not going to be doing this. Of course, internet is the internet. They started doing a lot of fake accounts, Barron Trump with Donald Trump with a mustache and stuff like that, and then just asking silly questions or whatever. So I think that's not the biggest thing that came out of this to me, as far as banning goes. It's the fallout that Parler ended up with, which is as many people. What did one politician say? I saw it in a photo that one of my friends sent me that she wants me to look at, where some guy said Parler is the First Amendment Twitter, or it's the first it's the free speech Twitter. So So Parler, of course, is no. Parler is an alternative, right? At first, it was an alternative, but then right wingers took over, or did right wingers create it to be right wing?
I think right wingers created it. I know it's co-owned by that dude that's always on Fox News. It's like a black dude, a light skinned dude. Damn it, I can't remember his name. But he's like a majority owner in Parler, and it's been like a right wing hub for a while. And they really started moving there when Facebook deleted the Stop the Steal Facebook group, because people started posting comments in there with like bullets, like we're gonna take this election back one way or another, and there would be like a bullet. Then Facebook was like, nah, you can't do that. So they killed that group, and then a lot of people migrated to Parler like instantly. And then Parler has been having a bunch of people say some really like nasty stuff on there about killing Nancy Pelosi and
what did I say in pre-production? This is basically dark internet stuff that's gone mainstream, right? The dark web. There, that's the term I was looking for. I've been saying dark internet, but the dark web. This is basically that is stuff that people talk about in the dark web. Plans to assassinate a politician, racist shit, off like just racist stuff to spread white supremacy.
That used to be like 4chan, those kind of sites, and then they ended up getting taken down too.
Yeah, so first Parler got taken off of the app stores, which is for Apple and Google. Then Amazon decided that they're not going to support it on their web browser, which is pretty much Amazon pretty much is a monopoly on the
so Amazon AWS, Amazon Web Services, they host sites and stuff, but Microsoft Azure is another platform for cloud hosting. So they could go to Microsoft, but I don't think Microsoft will take them.
No, they're not going to.
I want to read for you the stuff that AWS said in response to Parler suing them for kicking Parler off of their thing. Right? So over the next 7 weeks, I think maybe they meant over the past 7 weeks, AWS reported more than 100 additional representative pieces of content advocating violence to Parler's chief policy officer, including, I'm just going to read a couple, Fry 'em up, the whole effing crew, hashtag Pelosi, hashtag AOC, hashtag the squad, Soros, Gates, Schumer, hashtag a bunch of people. We are coming for you and you will know it. Okay, here's another one. We're going to fight in a civil war on January 20th, form militias now and acquire targets. Another one, shoot the police that protect these S-bag senators right in the head, then make a senator grovel a bit before capping their ass. I mean, this was the stuff that's been posted in Parler. Let me read one more. Hang this mofo, Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger today. Yeah. So these are the kind of what initially happened, and I think a lot of people are missing this when they report about AWS taking down Parler. What initially happened was AWS told Parler, you guys need to put content moderation. It's the same thing Facebook has, it's the same thing Twitter has. They have content bots that look for things, right? You know, because you've had bans on Facebook before. They look for things, right? And they're not always very smart because they're automated bots, but they look for things that seem like it's a breach of policy, whether it's you're attacking someone on the basis of sex or all that stuff, or like some kind of hate speech. And if that's the case, you get some kind of warning, some kind of ban. Parler has nothing like that. And AWS was like, if you guys are going to continue to be hosted on this, you got to put some content moderation in place. Parler said no. AWS was like, all right, bet. And they removed them. Yeah.
So I want to touch real fast on my bans on Facebook, just so people know that I'm not over here inciting violence or nothing like that. So I got banned for two things. One was a joke that actually my friend who I posted it on her comment section actually did the laugh.
Mm-hmm. Laugh emoji.
Laugh emoji. No, she didn't do she laughed at it instead of liking it. you know.
Yeah, the reaction, the laugh reaction.
The laugh reaction. And she said something about women and men, and then jokingly I just said, such a nasty woman. But obviously she knew I wasn't joking around. She knew I was just joking.
That's a Clinton reference.
Then Twitter was like, no, this is, I guess they thought I was being sexist or something like that. So
on that Facebook?
Yeah, this is on Facebook. I've only been banned on Facebook. I've never been banned on Twitter.
You said Twitter. You said Twitter was like, this is wrong. But you mean Facebook?
Oh, no, Facebook. Facebook was like, this is wrong. I've never been banned on Twitter. No. Twitter is a lot lenient because you could say F you to this person.
And people say some messed up things on Twitter.
Stuff. Yeah. They say some off the wall stuff. But so that was my first one. And then the second one I thought was justified, which I said after the election, I said, fuck you, Kentucky, and fuck you, South Carolina. And if you follow this show, you know why. Because they reelected Lindsey Graham and reelected
Mitch McConnell. Yeah.
So I think I'm justified in my anger. So that's why. And look, Kentucky, you guys have a great,
fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
You gave Colonel Sanders.
No, Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, I'm sorry. And then South Carolina, you guys have things too.
Something.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, is that what you wanted to talk on the whole Parler ban?
Oh, no. Yeah, sorry. So the last thing on that. So AWS kicked off Parler, but before Parler was brought down, there was a white hat hacker that basically hacked into Parler and downloaded all the content that was on it, all the users, everything they had said, everything they had posted, also that they can use this content for the FBI to track potential things that that they were planning, right? Because they're like, okay, AWS is going to take it down. We don't want to lose all this potential evidence that's out there. So she did that. And download all that stuff, which is great, to help the FBI. But I was thinking about it from and I sound a lot like a conservative right now saying slippery slope, but there is a slippery slope to it, because if the whole idea behind using social media and all that stuff, with your privacy settings and all that, is that you're supposed to have some autonomy over how public you want your voice to be, how public you want the things you say to be. If it's now determined that it's okay for someone to go and hack Parler and download all this stuff and use it for court cases and all that stuff, then you're basically setting the precedent that it's okay to do the same thing for someone's Twitter feed, for someone's Facebook feed, to go and just download everything that they've ever said and use it in a court case.
I will say though that that's already done.
No, but even stuff that is private, even stuff that you're not using, that you haven't set public.
In divorce proceedings, they've used messages that I'm sure these are court ordered. Right, like court ordered, like, hey, you have to give this information away. Kind of, how you have to get. I think the court has to be able to get a warrant to be able to get like your phone records and stuff like that. So it's the same thing. Like you get warrant. I get what you're saying. This person is basically a vigilante hacker, right? Like I mean, they do this as a vigilante to help the police.
There was no order for that.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, and then honestly, that can actually the FBI probably could lose the case
because of how it was obtained.
But they could probably use it to springboard looking them up. And then if this person might have a lot of other stuff that they get legally.
Well, so I don't know if it's being used actually for a case. I think it's more
being used to target them, to get them.
Well, yeah, I think it's more for preemptive stuff, because there's a lot of talk about something going on January 17th, which is Sunday, I think. And then, stuff going on Inauguration Day itself, the 20th. So maybe it's more of a preemptive, like, hey, this is what we're seeing, puts National Guard here, as opposed to.
And you know what, though? I don't think the police need to have warrants when they're doing investigations on people for certain things. Like, you can hack into somebody's internet, Facebook stuff, like, because that's how a lot of police officers track people down. I'm pretty certain they're not getting warrants off of for every single one of them if it's in the line of investigations, right?
Maybe.
I get what you're saying, because honestly, if this person, and I don't think they should get any punishments for doing this, that can be an argument that people like Assange shouldn't be getting for releasing records that show what the government has done to us. Snowden and stuff with people like that. And also, she became a woman in prison.
Manning, Chelsea Manning.
Yeah, Chelsea Manning. So you could say, like, look, yeah, maybe legally whistleblowing isn't right, but it can be argued that ethically they're correct, and ethically they should not be punished.
See, the problem with that then is who determines, the ethics.
Well, in this case, the government does, because if they don't do anything but to track down these people, but they did it to. I mean, Snowden is trapped in, where is he, trapped in Russia right now or something like that? He can't leave.
Somewhere there, yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I think your argument helps me more to be on the side of the hackers versus the being against the hacking, just because it's like, these people were doing unethical shit to begin with. So why should, honestly, like, they could be an argument that, hey, people who are being unethical and doing illegal stuff, give up certain rights for them. You get the due process, but if my wife looks at my messenger to see if I'm cheating on her, and she's wrong, then obviously I can get mad at, hey, why'd you look at my stuff and you're wrong. But if she's right, I can't argue against you doing it, because also you were right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like, I get what you're saying. There's a slippery slope, but if you're doing wrong.
No, but what if 50 years from now, right, someone puts in a doctrine that says men are allowed to cheat, women aren't, and then your wife does that thing where she looks at your messages and sees you cheated. In present day, that would have been unethical for you. 50 years from now, she's the unethical one for breaching your privacy when you didn't do anything. So that's what I'm saying. It's who determines ethics, right?
And honestly, that's a philosophical question that I'm pretty sure has been discussed since freaking the days of Plato and Socrates. So it's just, I get what you're asking, and I think that's an important question. It's just, it's really hard to answer. It really is. And it's one of those things that I guess it's one of those things like love, it when you see it, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, there are some clear things, right? Like, if you kill someone, you're definitely on the wrong side.
Yeah.
If you steal from someone, there are clear things like that.
But that's
I don't know. It's tough.
What if I killed Hitler? Am I wrong for killing Hitler before Hitler became Hitler? But I knew Hitler was going to become Hitler.
Yeah, you're wrong. You are. I believe so. I think if you go into the past and you kill baby Hitler before he's done anything, I think you're wrong.
So obviously, Zeno would allow the fatal snap to happen, and I probably would be like Rhodey. Why don't we just go in the past and baby Thanos and?
Yeah, they just
You're like Hulk. First of all, that's disturbing.
Yes, exactly. It is disturbing. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on the fact that person downloaded that, and the ethical questions in there. But come see, come sa, right? We'll see if the law enforcement uses it and how they use it. Hopefully, they do it in a way that we can all be proud of.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.